So, this past weekend was New York Comic Con, and I, of course, wasn't able to go up there for Comic Con this past weekend, but I wanted to use this opportunity to talk about some ideas I had for superhero video games that could be exciting and a really interesting idea to experience. Now, I know that we've been kind of burnt out with the DCEU and the MCU, especially with MCU just unleashing endless content through the movies and the TV shows, and it kind of reaches that point where it's become very stale. And I think that there is potential for a really exciting world of superhero video games, much better than what we've had in the past. Now, you may not remember, but some time ago on like the PS2 era type of days, there was a lot of superhero video games at the time. Now, yes, most of them were kind of movie licensed games, like the 3 Spider-Man games. Thor had a video game based off the first movie. Green Lantern had a video game based off the first movie. You had the Ultimate Spider-Mans. You even had a movie based off Batman Begins. So, in the endless sea of bad superhero video games, there were some pretty good ones. You know, Hulk Ultimate Destruction was a pretty good one. I think The Punisher had a good video game as well. And of course, you have Marvel's Spider-Man, Guardians of the Galaxy as well, and most of the Arkham games. So, like I said, I wanted to use this video to try to talk about some ideas for other superhero characters that may not have gotten their chance to have a superhero game, or even talk about those heroes that did have a game but should get another shot at a much better experience. So let's just jump right into this video. Now, as I said earlier, we did see almost like a endless pool of superhero video games, both movie tie-ins and non-movie tie-ins, and we had a lot. Like, we had the 5 Spider-Man tie-in games, we had a Batman Begins game, Superman Returns, Thor, Green Lantern. We even had Ghost Rider, Fantastic Four, and Daredevil based off of the Ben Affleck Daredevil. Yeah, those games actually existed. We even have the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games, those X-Men games. If you want to consider Marvel vs. Capcom one of those games as well. We had the 2 Injustice games. We had some non-movie tie-in Spider-Mans and Batmans. We had a Captain America game. So there's been a lot. Even really older ones like Punisher, for example, Incredible Hulk, Ultimate Destruction. So, like I said, there is a lot of them out there, both movie tie-ins and non-movie tie-ins. A majority of those games did suck. And I think it was thanks to Arkham Asylum that kind of reinvented the idea of a superhero video game that's not only good in terms of the story, but the gameplay mechanics, the combat. And I think that now is the perfect time to get more superhero video games with much better development for our consoles. Not so much Batman. I think Batman needs to take a break. They had 4 Arkham games, and now Gotham Knights is releasing in a couple weeks. So I think Batman needs to take a break for a moment, and just please cancel Suicide Squad. Nobody gives a shit about that game. Just cancel it and put the money towards something else. So what I have here is a list of superhero games that I think would be perfect for a video game, and they're all going to be pretty much Marvel and DC, but there's one here that it's not Marvel or DC, and I want to start with this one, and that's a new Infamous game. Now, yes, Infamous is exclusive to the PlayStation, but I think what we've gotten from the first 2 games and what we got from the PS4 version of Second Son, there's potential for a new Infamous game. I recently went back to Second Son and the DLC First Light. It kind of holds up visually and performance-wise, and I do think that there's potential for something much more better, especially with the PS5 and the hardware that it supports. You can have a much bigger city, a much more dense story, better characters, amazing new abilities. I think Infamous would be perfect for a sequel, maybe like a new trilogy or something like that. And I think now is the time, because the first 2 Infamous games plus the Festival of Blood expansion were all on PS3, and then Second Son with their only expansion, First Light, was on PS4. Where is the PS5 Infamous game? So I think we need an Infamous game, or you could just reboot 1 and 2, or not reboot, remake 1 and 2 maybe. I know that it's a touchy subject, but I did make a video about remakes, and I believe Infamous was one of those games that I said should get a remake because of how old those games are. So moving on from there, I think Infamous Second Son and First Light is a good template to start off a Flash video game. Now there is some footage of a Flash game that was scrapped some time ago, and I think that it can be difficult to make a game exciting about a superhero with one superpower, but that's not really the case here. I did have this discussion with a friend of mine, and there is more that the Flash can do with his abilities, not just the running super fast and running up walls and running on water. He could run through walls, he can create wind turbines with his arms, he can vibrate his molecules to not get hit by anyone. He could literally vibrate in one spot to be invisible to the naked eye. He can travel through time, he could travel the multiverse. I think that there is decent potential for an interesting Flash game, and the reason why I say Infamous Second Son is a good template is because with the increased speed running that you do in that game, it does have some decent ideas of how they would handle the wall running and the super speed. Even the way that Delson and Fetch stop from running, it's kind of similar to how the Flash would stop in the TV show on the CW. So I think that'll be really cool in terms of mechanics and gameplay. As for combat, I can see a very interesting thing with the combos or special moves. Maybe you get a meter charged up and you can just beat the crap out of a bunch of guys in like 2 seconds. That'll be pretty cool for like your special finisher. There's a lot of potential for the villains that you can fight in the game and how cool those fights would be. Captain Cold, not so much because he's kind of a whack character, but the idea of putting him in a game would be cool. And then you have, of course, really cool enemies like Mirror Master, Grodd, the Thinker, Reverse Flash. Those would be really cool boss fights to have for the Flash in the video game. And of course the alternate costumes for the Flash, the different suits he would wear. Maybe they'll include a Jay Garrick costume unless they put him in the game. That would be really cool to see. So I think the Flash deserves a spot for a superhero video game. Moving on is the Hulk. We have 3 Hulk games, I believe, in total. The 2 based off of 2 movies and then Ultimate Destruction. I think now is the time to either give us a brand new Incredible Hulk game or remake Ultimate Destruction. Again, touchy subject with the remake, but I think that that's one of the games that should get a remake or even a sequel or something. And not just to have us fight the Abomination again, but I think there is potential for the other villains and characters for the Hulk to fight. Fin Fang Foom is potentially a Hulk villain. You have Red Hulk, you have the Gray One. I know most of them are pretty much Hulks anyway. A-Bomb can make an appearance. She-Hulk can make an appearance as long as her animation isn't as crappy as the She-Hulk Disney Plus show. Sorry, not sorry. He even has a pet T-Rex in the comics, so that'd be cool to see the pet T-Rex. I think it'll be perfect to get a new Hulk game, open world of course, whether you do Ultimate Destruction or you do it back in Manhattan. Maybe Insomniac would do it and you put him in the Spider-Man's New York. I don't know, but Hulk needs a video game because they fucked him over in She-Hulk, they fucked him over in the MCU. Give my boy a video game, okay? Moving on, this one is a very underrated character and I'm tired of DC and Warner Brothers not utilizing this guy to his potential, and I think more people need to be aware of this character if they don't know about him. Static Shock. Bring me Static Shock, because in the original Static Shock animated cartoon, there was a lot of great things about that cartoon, a lot of different elements and subjects about gun violence in school and mental illnesses. Not saying the game has to tackle these issues, but Static Shock was a very inspirational animated show, and it was a very entertaining show, especially for the character Virgil being Static Shock, his friend Richie being Gear, calling the villains the Bang Babies. It was a very interesting show, and it's time that Warner Brothers will do their part and put a shock to our systems, our consoles, basically. As for the characters, as I mentioned, the Bang Babies in the show, I can't remember all their names, but the one in particular that I do remember because he was pretty awesome was Rubber Band Man. You know, he had dyslexia in the show, so they could do something with that in the video game. And it would be kind of cool to fly around the city chasing down Rubber Band Man because he could turn into a ball and bounce around everywhere. That would be really cool and fun. Static Shock needs to get his own video game, and I think he was getting a movie. It might have been canceled. Don't know. They're not treating my boy right. So next up is the Boy Scout, the Man of Steel, Superman. Yes, I think Superman needs a new game. I think despite how crappy the game was, and it was a movie license game, Superman Returns did do a couple of things right, in my opinion. Being able to use your heat breath and your heat vision, your ice breath, your super speed, X-ray vision, your supersonic hearing, being able to fly really fast, run really fast, and I think at the time the technology was limited to be able to utilize it to perfection. I think now we may be able to get close to perfection, and there's mods out there for the Unreal Engine using Superman in the game. I think this would be a good time to have Superman, and again with all the creative enemies that Superman could face off against: Lex Luthor, Brainiac, Lobo, Doomsday, Darkseid, Mixius Biblic, Parasite. There's so many in the Superman roster, as well as even small-time villains like Bruno Mannheim. These are interesting characters that could be very interesting for a video game. Metropolis could be a very gorgeous map to explore, very diverse, and I think Superman needs his video game if it's done right. There was the argument from a friend of mine that maybe it'll have to be a linear level experience and not open world because of the whole Invincible and all the speed and everything. Like I said, Superman Returns had a very interesting idea with the super speed, and they even gave your city a health bar rather than Superman a health bar, which made sense. If the city's destroyed, you lose. But I think they should also maybe add like a kryptonite health bar, so that when an enemy like Metallo, for example, will use kryptonite, that's when you start losing your kryptonite health and you could die from that fight. But like I said, we're in that age now, the technology now, it can be done. Let's get Superman a video game. So here's some other games that are confirmed for the most part, and there is one more that's not exactly confirmed at all, but I think should be confirmed. I'll start with that one. Spider-Gwen. We do have Spider-Man PS4. We get in the sequel next year, and we got the Miles Morales game. I think we should now get a Spider-Gwen video game, especially because her universe is so unique compared to the Peter and Miles universe. Her lizard was Peter Parker. Her dad is still alive. She's part of a band, so I think that would be really cool, especially since Miles does have a different swing style than Peter. She also has a different swing style, different air moves, so it'd be really cool to not only see those, but what other changes does she have in her universe in terms of villains? Who is her Doc Ock? Who is her Green Goblin? I want to see these things. You can use the same New York, just multiverse the shit, and I want to see Spider-Gwen get her own video game. So not confirmed, but it should be. So for the ones that are confirmed, these are more so of like what I hope to get from these games, because these games for the most part, there's not much that we know about it. First one being Wonder Woman. Yes, Wonder Woman did get an announcement for video game. I did rewatch the teaser, and I found out from the teaser it seems like it will take place primarily on Themyscira, and there is an old threat that came back to attack the Amazons. Could be Ares, could be Hades, could be something completely different. I don't know. I just hope that we get some alternate costumes, really good combat, good gameplay, good story. If it is open world like the Themyscira, hopefully it's a big enough open world. If it's not, hopefully it's an exciting and engaging video game that keeps us engaged. I know Deadpool was a linear experience, and I don't remember how well that game did. And that was even before the movies, I think. And I wasn't really a fan of Deadpool. I'm still not really a big fan of Deadpool anyway. And I never played the game fully. I played a little bit, and it was just, whatever. So Wonder Woman, it's her time. I know the last movie sucked. The first movie was great. So let this Wonder Woman game be good. Let it be handled properly, please. Moving on from there. There's a Captain America and Black Panther game that was announced, but there was also, I think, a solo Black Panther game that was announced. I think the Captain America Black Panther one is a 4-player co-op or a 4-player beat-em-up game. I hope it's not, because the other two characters on the cover, so to speak, was 2 soldiers. Who do you want to be if you can't be Captain America and Black Panther? I don't know what the story is going to be, if it's going to be a mobile game or a AAA console game. We have no idea. And as for the Black Panther solo game, again, no idea. So give us some more information on that. Who is developing these games? When is it coming out? I'm sure the who is developing is out there already. I haven't done the research to look it up myself. I just have some hopes and dreams for these games. Black Panther, similar thing of give us alternate costumes. Maybe we can do something with Shuri and M'Baku. Don't know how much of the movie will be connected to it or any type of Easter eggs or something, but you know, we gotta do Black Panther right, Wakanda forever, rest in peace Chadwick Boseman, so we gotta get that done properly. Going on from there, the Spider-Man sequel, potential spoiler if you didn't beat the Spider-Man game or you haven't seen this trailer, but just some more hopes about this game. Yes, Kraven the Hunter is in the game. Yes, Venom is in the game. Yes, Venom may be Harry Osborn in this game, which has happened in Spectacular Spider-Man TV show, which I think is now on Netflix, so check it out. It happened very briefly, but this could be the game where Peter dies, right? I'm just assuming based on some things. It could be that you play as both Peter and Miles throughout the game. Maybe you can switch freely between the two. Maybe you get them throughout certain points of the game. And then Peter will die and Venom will die and Miles will then take over for the next game, the third game. Similar to how Red Dead 1 and 2, your character would die, spoiler, sorry, and you continue the game as John Marston, or in the sequel, Jack Marston in the first one, John Marston in the sequel. And of course, Insomniac did say that the black suit will play a role in the sequel. They didn't want to put it in the last game. They wanted the black suit to not just be a skin, they wanted it to be an actual game mechanic. So let's hope that it does pay off. Maybe we'll get a Peter versus Miles fight scene because of the black suit corrupting him right before Venom gets made. That'll be pretty cool. Next one. This is gonna be a good one. Wolverine. I really cannot wait for this Wolverine game. Like, I don't know what else to say about it. I can't wait for Wolverine because Insomniac is going to be good. I know it's going to be good. Going to be some really cool alternate costumes, hopefully. The yellow and blue suit, the brown suit, the jeans, and the jacket. We don't know much about it. We don't know when it's coming out. We don't know what it is about, who's in it. Could be Sabretooth, could be Lady Deathstrike, could be X-23. Maybe we'll get some X-Men cameos like Professor X, maybe Deadpool make an appearance. I cannot wait, honestly, and that's all I can really say about it. Finally is Iron Man. Yes, Iron Man is getting a new game, but it is by EA Games, so that's kind of like starting off on the wrong foot there. It's kind of like you're set up to fail, basically. Apparently the guy who made the Guardians of the Galaxy video game is the one behind this Iron Man game, which means EA, just do us all a favor, listen to Sam Jackson and keep your motherfucking hands off the motherfucking Iron Man game, off of the fucking project. Let the guy run it, let the team run it. Just give them the money that you're gonna give them to, financially support the game, and that's it. Do not fuck with this game, because this Iron Man game could be a door opener for the Superman game in terms of how the flight would work and how the gameplay would be. So Iron Man, EA, don't know when it's happening. Don't know if EA is gonna fuck it up, but they probably will. Don't know if there'll be microtransactions in the game, but there probably will be microtransactions in the game. So hopefully this works out. And that's pretty much it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if there's any other heroes that you think should get another video game or a brand new video game. And let me know in the comments below. And I will see you guys on the next one.